Duggar News. Jana Duggar gearing up to star in her solo show. Hello friend, welcome back to my channel. God bless you. For the news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. All the Duggar News siblings have dealt with Josh Duggar's imprisonment differently. Some spoke out, some ignored, while others moved on. There were also some who decided to go on a hiatus to process this unfavorable update. Jana Duggar was one of them. So her comeback from social media hiatus was surprising, and she has been all over the place now. Jana has also become a weekly vlogger and likes to share glimpses of her everyday life on YouTube. Apart from this, her sensational wedding with over 500 guests was also the talk of the town. After seeing Jana constantly making headlines, fans are wondering something. Will she be the next Duggar to have a solo reality show? Let's find out. As mentioned before, Jana Duggar is not shying away from documenting her life to the fullest. Be it her tiny house tour or her extravagant wedding, she is showcasing it all and doing it rather graciously. Duggar News followers noticed how there were crew members at her wedding with Stephen Wisman. Jinger Duggar also addressed this on her podcast, but it looks like the crew members were from when they shot with the Duggars for 19 kids and counting on. So Jana invited them to the wedding as if they were family. This means that they were not on duty. Moreover, there was a camera crew to capture Jana and Stephen's exclusive wedding photos. Yet, fans still have more reason to believe Jana may be the next Duggar star to bag a solo show. Why is that? As mentioned above, Duggar News followers are taking a keen interest in Jana's life. After all, she made a comeback on social media after a few years, so the viewers missed them. At the same time, they noticed how much media is pushing all the updates about her life and relying on her for making headlines. Fans feel that it may be a major hint. Some also said how people covered Jana and Stephen's wedding pictures exclusively. They feel it could also be a big giveaway that the former may be planning her reality TV comeback. It's obvious how confident Jana has gotten about showcasing her life. Her YouTube channel with weekly vlogs is also going strong, and viewers have had a lot to say. Many fans began discussing Jana's possible comeback on Reddit. Many were excited if that happened. They began to say it would also be interesting to see her siblings and other Duggars appear on the show as guests. In fact, the audience has not seen the infamous family on screens for so long. They are also curious about their current dynamics after all the scandals. What do you think? Is Jana prepping up for her reality TV comeback? Would you tune in to see the show if she ends up being the lead in it? Tell us how you feel in the comments below. Jana Duggar says siblings had a super hard time during Jill and Jinger's book releases. Jana Forsyth, nee Duggar, admitted that her parents, Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Duggar, and siblings had a difficult time accepting that her sisters Jill Dillard, nee Duggar, and Jinger nee Duggar, wrote books about their upbringings and evolving religious views. While appearing on the Wednesday, October 16 episode of the Unplanned podcast, Jana, 26, was asked about reading both Jinger, 30, and Jill's books. While Jinger released Becoming Free Indeed, My Story of Disentangling Faith from Fear in January 2023, Jill, 33, published Counting the Cost in September of that year. Both books express their issues with the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP, which the Duggars were raised to follow. Following the release of both books, Jana told fans via social media that reading about her sister's experiences rocked her world, and she was asked to elaborate on the realization during the podcast. "I'll probably get emotional because I always get emotional about this kind of stuff," she said. Jana then explained that she had a difficult postpartum experience after she welcomed son Gunnar with husband Austin Forsyth in May 2023. "It was like the darkest time of my life," she said, adding that it was both super good and super hard. After noting that the hormones were super hard for her, she admitted that she felt like her family was falling apart. "My siblings and my parents and all this stuff was super hard at that time," the former Counting on star said through tears. So I came to a point where I was just like, what is even real? What do I believe? All this stuff. She said that reading both Jinger and Jill's memoirs made her question her own religious beliefs, noting that Austin, 30, had a previous experience with his faith beforehand. It was good, and I can see now, looking back, how much God grew me in that season. But I do feel like Jinger's book, specifically just talking about just your faith in God, and taking it from more of, like, what can I do? Joanna continued. We grew up with so many standards, and I was great at keeping all of these standards, and my parents never preached one time that it was, you do all these things and then God will accept you. But that's how I took it personally, and so my whole life, I was like doing all these things, and my whole Christianity was always a checklist. Joanna said that her original views of religion came crumbling down when the books came out, adding that she had to work through her approach to religion. I feel like Jinger's book, I've listened to it and I've talked to her a lot, and I had a lot of really good counselors in my life. And I went and actually saw a counselor for these issues. And that was really good, she continued, adding that Austin really encouraged her to explore her faith. Jana Duggar talks about her family falling apart. Jana Duggar and Austin Forsyth haven't talked much about the drama surrounding the Duggar family. They mainly remained quiet throughout Josh Duggar's arrest, trial, and sentencing. Even when Jill Duggar released her book and appeared in the Shiny Happy People documentary, the couple didn't say much. However, Joy has been vocal about Jinger Duggar's book and how it opened up her thinking and made her question things. She discussed it in a YouTube video before she and Austin took a break from weekly vlogging. Joy and Austin appeared on the Unplanned podcast in a surprising turn of events. They likely were connected through Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vuolo, who filmed the podcast earlier this year. Jill and Derek Dillard also did an episode. Some of Joy's comments weren't surprising, but when she mentioned her family falling apart, we took notice. Last year was a big year for the Duggar family. Jill Duggar's book, Counting the Cost, was released 3 months after she and Derek Dillard appeared in Shiny Happy People. Jill and Derek discussed the family's lifestyle, strict rules, and inner workings in great detail, including how Jim Bob Duggar treated his daughters and other family members. Jana Duggar talked about how her family was falling apart when she welcomed Gunnar into the world. That was June 2023, coinciding with the release of the documentary and Jill's book being pushed up due to popular demand. She didn't go into specific detail, but she was clearly unhappy with how her big sister handled things. It was also implied that Jill's truths may have rattled some things within the family, turning Joy's usually predictable world upside down. The declaration that her family was falling apart was also mixed with the revelation that Jana Duggar had postpartum depression after welcoming Gunnar. She and Austin Forsyth talked about not wanting to use medication despite her doctor's recommendation. Instead, Joy opted to change her lifestyle by eating. Reality star Jinger Duggar announces exciting pregnancy news. Counting on alum Jinger Duggar Vuolo is expecting her third child with husband Jeremy Vuolo. Jinger Duggar Vuolo is Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's sixth child and has 2 daughters, Felicity and Evangeline Vuolo, with her husband. The couple got married back in November 2016 and are more than excited to be expanding their family. In an exclusive interview with P.O. Pill, the reality TV star announced that she is due in March 2025, while sharing how relieved she was over not being pregnant during the summer months. The 19 kids and counting star expressed that she is not super big pregnant as of yet and doesn't have to be worried about going through her trimesters while dealing with the heat. The reality star also shared that she got her 2 daughters denim jackets with the words, "Big Sis" on the back to break the news to them during a photo shoot. Jeremy Vuolo confessed that the news was a total surprise to him. He shared that his wife told him about her pregnancy on their eldest daughter, Felicity Vuolo's birthday, and said, "I've got a gift for you." Duggar Vuolo then presented him with an Amazon bag with her positive results inside it. As Jinger Duggar's pregnancy progresses, Jeremy Vuolo has happily become his wife's pickle and frozen fruit. ice cream delivery man to manage her weird cravings. While the Jinger and Jeremy Vuolo don't know the gender of their baby just yet, the two of them are wishing for a boy this time. According to Vuolo, being parents to two girls has been incredible, but the two are extremely curious to be parents of a little boy. However, Jinger Duggar Vuolo added that they will be happy either way. For now, the reality couple is just enjoying life as a family of 4 before their newborn arrives. When asked about having more kids down the line, Jinger Vuolo confessed that she was happy with 2, but 3 is what she and her husband always had in mind. However, they might just have room for 1 more, 3 or 4. I don't know. But I think 3 is what I'm leaning towards right now, concluded Duggar Vuolo. During a previous appearance on the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby Howard, Jinger Duggar Vuolo opened up about growing up with 18 siblings. She shared that while she had always wanted children, she was extremely afraid at the thought of having too many. The reality star noted that she knew a lot of women who got married and began having children until they couldn't anymore. To her, this was a burden that she never wanted to carry. Duggar Vuolo recalled her childhood and how she had to take care of her siblings while her mother recovered from her pregnancies. But when she met Vuolo, she realized she didn't need to have as many kids as possible. Duggar News: Jinger and Jeremy Vuolo are expecting baby 3. So excited. Jinger Duggar has been able to build her own brand away from her infamous family. Duggar News followers have been supportive of her since she began calling out their toxic ways and redefining her life on her own terms. Following this, Jinger also released books talking about her experiences growing up in a big family with strict IBLP norms. Apart from this, Jinger also keeps her fans updated about her sweet family. This includes her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, and daughters Felicity and Evangeline. Well, it looks like another member will soon join them. That's because Jinger happily announced that she is expecting yet another baby. What did Jinger say? When is the baby due? As mentioned before, Jinger is not only close to releasing a new book, but also does weekly podcasts with her husband Jeremy Vuolo. Because of this, viewers always tune in to hear about what's been going on with their lives. In a previous episode, the Duggar News star expressed her wish to have twins. She explained the reason behind this. She said that although raising 2 infants simultaneously would be tough, it would be less work carrying them as she would have 2 babies in 9 months. Since then, viewers have begun to observe Jinger having a baby fever and are expecting that she will let the audience know whether she is pregnant or not. Well, that's exactly what happened. Jinger took to her social media to attach a YouTube link to her Instagram story. Without going into details, the Duggar News star said that she had a big news to share. As the video started, viewers saw her in front of the bathroom sink, holding on to a pregnancy test. That's all the proof they needed to deduce that she was having a 3rd baby. It turns out although Jinger and Jeremy were expecting this news, the latter was still surprised to find out. She decided to let her husband know by putting the pregnancy test inside an Amazon box. Well, he was not expecting it as he thought his wife brought him a gift from Amazon. But when he saw what it was, Jeremy was over the moon. At the same time, Jinger and Jeremy also planned the perfect occasion to tell their little girls. Jinger Duggar forgot to tell one of her brothers about her pregnancy. I felt so bad. Pregnant Jinger Duggar lost track of one of her 18 siblings while telling her family that she's expecting baby No. 3. During the Wednesday, October 16, episode of their Jinger and Jeremy podcast, Duggar, 30, and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, opened up about how they broke the news to their families about her pregnancy. Duggar noted that she was 16 weeks along at the time of recording the episode. I told just family and 1 or 2 close friends the news before officially announcing, Duggar said. Vuolo, 37, added, I think we told my family and then most of your family around 8 or 9 weeks, just because it's not often that they're out here in California. Everyone was coming out here for your sister Jana's bachelorette party. Vuolo's parents also visited before the couple traveled to Arkansas for Jana's wedding to Stephen Wisman in August. That's where we told a majority of my siblings, Duggar said. Though most of Duggar's brothers and sisters heard the news from her early on, there was one sibling who missed out. Except for James, Buolo teased. Duggar confessed that she felt so bad about leaving poor James out of the loop. I love him so much, she said. And that's why I thought I had already told him. James, 23, is the 13th child of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. He was visiting the West Coast for his brother Jason's bachelor party when he finally learned about Jinger's pregnancy. Jason, 24, married fiancée Maddie Grace earlier this month. I was just casually talking about the pregnancy and he was like, "What? You're pregnant?" Jinger recalled on the podcast. I was like, "James, I can't believe I didn't tell you." Jinger acknowledged that with such a big family, it's not uncommon for some big life updates to slip through the cracks. While it would have been easy to communicate to everyone through the group chat, Jinger wanted to share her pregnancy news individually. And let's be honest, people have that group chat on silent, Buolo joked. Because there's so many people. So even if it's put on the group chat, it doesn't guarantee people are gonna see it. There's a lot happening in that group chat. Jinger and her husband announced on Tuesday, October 15, that their third baby is on the way. The couple who tied the knot in 2016 share daughters Felicity, 6, and Evangeline, 3. Jinger previously suffered a miscarriage, which factored into her and Buolo's decision to wait to break the news. I think a lot of people tell sooner, but there were a couple different things that came into play. Jinger said on the podcast, I mean, I had a miscarriage between the girls. That was just at 6.5 weeks or so. And so I kind of wanted to wait until the second trimester to make an announcement.